What's going on, everyone? So we got the official schedule of the Lakers versus the Nuggets. I cannot wait. I am pumped. I'm excited. This is what I wanted. First game is Saturday, 4:20, which is great because the Lakers get 4 days in between. LeBron James, he needs to rest up. Anthony Davis, right? Austin Reeves has played a ton of miles the last year or so, going from last season into Team USA to now the NBA season, now to the actual playoffs again. He played all 82 games, which is very impressive. But as you can see here, we have a couple days in between, which is huge for the Lakers. So you see the first game is Saturday, 4:20. Then they have 2 days before game 2. Then they have 3 days before game 3. Then they have 2 days in between game 4, so on and so forth. And then if they can get it to game 6 and 7, you'd have 3 days in between game 5 to 6, and then 2 days in between 6, 7. So this is why I think there is a ton of value in this. Now, I know a lot of people throw out Denver gets the same rest as the Lakers and whatnot, but to me, it's more valuable for the Lakers than it is for Denver, because Denver doesn't have a age 39 year 21-year-old on their roster that is their best player, right? That's the difference. The difference is yes, Jokic and Murray and all of them could really use the rest as well. And I think it'll definitely go a long way for them. But our best player is basically 90 and needs as much rest and help as he can get, who's played a bunch of minutes and has worked his tail off. And this team has just been scratching and clawing to get to this point and get to this moment. This rest is going to be huge for the Lakers. Now, I'm not saying the rest is that's all the Lakers needed was some rest to beat Denver, but I do think that this is something that will help. It'll give them time to, strategize, give them turnover in between games, right? Obviously, this is a tough matchup, and a lot of people have their worries, have their concerns about playing the Denver Nuggets. A lot of people didn't want to play Denver. A lot of people were throwing out the idea of hey, let's lose that first play-in game, drop down, and then go end up playing the Oklahoma City Thunder. But as you just saw with the Warriors yesterday, you can go cold, right? Clay was 0 of 10 or whatever from the field. Guys, it's one game. It's not a 2 out of 3. It's not a best of 5, best of 7. No, you're talking about one game where anything can happen. One team shows up, the other team doesn't, and that's it. You're going home. Lakers could play the best game possible against Sacramento, and they could shoot the lights out, and you still lose. Right? So, no, give me Denver. I'd rather play Denver, as I said, than sitting at home and watching somebody else play Denver. Give me Denver. Because if we beat Denver, guess what? Sky's the limit at that point. We beat Denver, I think the Lakers have a real shot at winning the NBA championship and might even be favored to win the whole thing. The problem is, there's still other teams. The West is a gauntlet. The West is going to be tough. And you're still on the road the entire way. Where it's if you were say the 2 or 3 seed, well then unless you play the 1 seed, you're good. You're still at home. But look, you have to be able to win on the road. And lately, the Lakers, who have not been a very good road team, have shown that they can win on the road. I was very impressed with the Pelicans win, right? And I get Denver and the Pelicans are not the same team, right? But Pelicans are still a good team. If it wasn't for Brandon Ingram going down, they probably would have been in the conversation for top 4 or 5 seed, as they were before injuries and stuff, right? So Pelicans were a good team that we had to go through twice on the road, right? It's not like we got one game at home and one game out. No, we had to play. It's hard to beat a team, period, twice. That was essentially a playoff series in which your first 2 games are on the road, because both of those games were playoff environment, playoff atmosphere games. The Lakers came out and won, because you have to be able to win on the road. How did the Lakers get to the conference finals last year? They won on the road. How did Denver win the NBA championship last year? They won on the road. How did Miami make it to the NBA finals last year? They won on the road. You have to be able to win on the road. If the Lakers want to beat Denver, guess what? They have to win on the road, because Denver doesn't have to beat you in LA. Denver has not been as good on the road this season as they were last year, but it doesn't matter. They don't have to beat you on the road. They just have to win all their games at home and you're good. So Lakers have the pressure of winning on the road. And I believe that the Lakers can win and should win and steal a game on the road. You have to win, in my opinion, game one or game two. If you win game one or game two, I think now, one, you have the confidence and the understanding of like, okay, we can beat them and we can beat them on the road. And then you advance and then you go home and hopefully if you take care of business at home, now you're up 3-1. I think the series is over. I don't think Denver's going to beat them 3 straight times. Can they? Yes. As we saw last year with them beating 4 straight times. But I just think that the Lakers get to like, hey, we have one elimination game. I think the Lakers get it done. I think LeBron could put the cape on at least once and go get you one of those games. But nonetheless, right? Lakers need to handle their business one way or another. And I think it starts with you win one of those first 2 games. If you don't win one of those first 2 games, I just think there's just so much pressure and you're behind the 8 ball and, you haven't been able to prove that you can beat Denver. They've beaten you now. At that point, it would be 10 straight times. And it's like that dark cloud and that doubt and stuff start creeping in and start, coming over even higher than they are now. And to me, it's like you need to see the proof in the pudding. I think once the Lakers get that win and get over that hump, I think you'll see them go, okay, here we go, let's go, right? Oh, now we just beat them, especially if you beat them on the road in Denver. I just think that raises your confidence level. I think that raises the momentum. I just think that changes the environment of the room, right? I think that changes the temperature in the room, and I think the Lakers will be in great shape, right? But it's going to be about the other guys, right? LeBron James and Anthony Davis, you know that they're going to play their games. They're going to come up. Jamal Murray and Jokic they're basically going to neutralize each other, right? Talking about two stars. As you saw last year, a lot of it was the other guys. Michael Porter Jr., KCP, Aaron Gordon, right? Bruce Brown. All play big roles, big minutes, and really kind of were the X factors for Denver, right? And then you saw us. It was like Schroeder disappeared, D'Lo disappeared, Rui, where was he? Lonnie Walker, where was he? Like, you go down the list, like Darvin Ham's trying to grasp for straws. And another thing, I do have my concerns about Darvin Ham, but the beauty of the playoffs is you're basically putting the trust in your players. Last year, the problem was no one showed up, so Darvin Ham had to make adjustments and had to grasp at straws, and he's not good at that. If everyone shows up, I do believe that it'll be easier for Darvin, because Darvin Ham looked good in these 2 Pelican games, right? Which again were playoff level games. Why? Because everything gets simplified for him. You're just putting the ball in your 2 best players' hands and you're letting them go make a play. Everything's flowing and running through LeBron James, right? So he doesn't really have to make adjustments. He doesn't really have to do much, right? All he has to do is just properly make rotations and call timeouts when need be, and you're good, right? And Darvin Ham actually did a pretty good job of that the last 2 games. Stop and runs. Pelicans go on a 6-0 run, and instead of letting that get to 12 or something, boom, calls the timeout. I like that, right? So if he can kind of just manage better, then the Lakers will be fine if the other guys show up. But then if everything starts crumbling and falling apart, well, then that's where I have the concerns with Darvin Ham. But I'll elaborate more on that and maybe dedicate a video to that, the coaching matchups. But nonetheless, right, I trust this team. I believe in this team. But we need the other guys. We need D'Lo to be big. All right? Will he have a bad game? Sure. Everyone has bad games. I hope not. I'd love for him to just be lights out for 7 straight games or 5 straight games or however many games it is. But realistically, if he has a bad game or something, it's fine. Right? What does he do over the entirety of the postseason? Right? What does he do? Say this goes to a 7-game series. If in 5 of them he's terrible, right? Well, then that's a problem. But if he's, if he has, say in a 7-game series, he's brilliant in 5 of them, but he has 2 bad games. I mean, that happens. Everybody does. Because again, he's not a superstar. He's not a star. He's the 3rd, some nights 4th guy for the Lakers, right? But to me, it's like, okay, if D'Lo can be good for, 4 or 5 games, and Reeves can be good for 4 or 5 games, and Rui can be good for, 4 or 5 games, right? And it's like, okay, Reeves has 1 or 2 bad games. D'Lo has 1 or 2 bad games. Rui has 1 or 2 bad games. Spence, right? If that happens, that's fine. As long as you have more than the other, I think the Lakers are going to be in the series, and I think the Lakers are going to have a real shot at winning this thing. And I genuinely believe that they can. Right? I'm not saying lock it. It's going to be tough. This isn't going to be something where the Lakers just run through and dominate the Denver Nuggets. this is a series that I think the Lakers can more than capable of winning. I think that they have the talent, they have the pieces, they have the versatility. Obviously, I would love if Jared Vanderbilt was back and around, but he's not. So you got to play with who you got. You got Gabe Vincent, who he actually had a very good game against the Pelicans in limited minutes, which, hey, he's rounded into playoff form. He's a big-time playoff performer, so we're about to find out. Right? So there's a lot of things that I believe in this Lakers team for. A lot of things that I think that this Lakers team can really pull out. All the games have been close. It's just closing down the stretch. Can they close down the stretch enough to actually win this game? We're going to find out. We're going to see. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Are you excited for this matchup? What do you think of the schedule? Again, how do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So I enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.